Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JD's Wildcat World. For the month of December, we're only going to have one episode a week as the Cats only play on Saturdays for the next couple weeks. So, on this episode, I'm going to recap a rather frustrating loss that I did not see coming. As you all know, I thought the Cats would handle UNC Wilmington with ease. Even without DJ Wagner. Out of all my predictions this season, this was definitely the worst one. I expected St. Joe's to play us close. I did not expect UNC Wilmington to play us close, and I definitely did not expect them to beat us, which they did. Give credit to the Seahawks as UNC Wilmington comes into Rupp Arena and beats Kentucky 80-73. We saw a version of this team that we haven't seen yet. Really looked distraught on offense. I want to start off by saying I think that we miss DJ Wagner a lot more than people are acting like. I think the offense, especially in the half court, where DJ can beat his man off the dribble and get to the rim, we lacked that. And especially, not as much on offense, but we really lacked on the defensive end. Reed just could not guard their guards. Trezarian White was a guy that I mentioned in last week's episode, but I expected him to score a lot. I did not expect us to not be able to guard him at all. I mean, he got to the rack at will. He basically did whatever he wanted on the offensive side, and that really hurt us. We got behind early. We're down by 8 at the half, and we'd claw back into it, and then they would go on a little run, and we very shocking. I get it. Everybody that is supposedly good this year in college basketball lost. Everybody's losing. I get that, but you don't want to lose a game like that at home against UNC Wilmington. So we did, and it's behind us. And, there is some things out of that game that I wanted to touch on before we move on to the upcoming matchup. Like I said, I think number one, we miss DJ Wagner. I hope he is back this Saturday when we play against Penn. I haven't heard. I want to touch on that Aaron Bradshaw looked good while he was in there. Plus 11 in the plus minus. Had 3 points and 2 boards. Only played 13 minutes. Cal said, and my guess was 10 to 15. And he played 13. So, wish he could have played more, honestly, because we seemed like we played really well with him on the floor. Reed Shepherd, 25 points, 9 boards, and 6 assists. Played really good on offense, kind of struggled on defense, as I touched on. And, Trezarian White and their guard, their other guard, his last name was Newby. I'm not sure his first name, but dude just went completely off. Had 15 on 5 of 8 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. Just very hard to stop them down the stretch as the Cats once again fall. UNC Wilmington, they could possibly make the tournament, but in my opinion, like I said, you don't need to lose games like that at home. I'm not giving up on this team by any means at all. I still think we're the most talented team in the country, to be honest with you. Talented teams lose. You can say, well, I've heard a lot this week, national championship teams don't lose that game at home. Over the years, that's been true, but, I think this is a different era of college basketball. I really believe the transfer portal has changed college basketball, and more so than football. I think that, anybody can beat anybody on a given night. It's kind of turned in similar to what the NBA is. Not quite at that level yet, but anybody can beat anybody. You see Purdue lose on the road to Northwestern. Yes, I know that's a conference team, but then you see Auburn lose to Appalachian State. it's North Carolina losing to UNC Greensboro, and it's just crazy. I think that it's a different era, and I'll tell you right now, and I've been on this since the beginning of the season. I think Penn is better than Wilmington, so we're gonna have to bring our A game Saturday also. That's why I hope we have DJ Wagner back. Those alternate site games always seem like they go a little bit funky anyway, especially in Philly. Penn will have a strong crowd, I'm sure. And, we need DJ in. Homecoming for him and Aaron Bradshaw. So, hopefully we get him back. Thing that I wish we would have done more of, I wish we would have shot more threes. Only 5 of 17 from 3. I think this team needs to shoot 25 to 30 threes a game. I've been on that. I've said that since, I just think we're better running, gunning, transition threes. Once again, we are not a half-court team yet. I know Cal is trying to drill into this team that we got to be a half-court team at some point. But, we're just not very good at it right now. I think we're most deadly when we're running and gunning. And, yes, I know we turned it over quite a bit on the break. This game, I think that's, with DJ in there, it seems like we didn't really do that as much. So, I don't think Aaron Bradshaw coming back has anything to do with the chemistry, as I've touched on. I had that question a couple times this week from people. I don't think that was the case. If you watched that game, you realized that, we did good things with him in the game. So, I think the Cats need to shoot about 25 to 30 threes a game. 17 is pretty wild. When I saw that number, it was pretty low. Sorry. But, Wilmington shot 31 and hit 11. That's more of what I wish we would have shot, but just didn't. So, I want to shout out to Duthiero, 7.6 boards. He did a lot of good things as well. He always does when he's in there. So, there at the end, one thing I am concerned about, and I touched on this against Kansas as well. Antonio Reeves has failed to make the big shot. And if there's one concerning thing for me, obviously our defense is not that good right now, but offensive-wise is we've got to get Reeves to hit at least one clutch shot. That way we can see him do it. We can see him possibly do it in March. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kansas State struggled mightily against Kansas, couldn't hit the three, had a wide open three against Wilmington to tie it and just missed it. So, that's definitely something that concerns me. I said once I started this podcast, I'm not going to be a guy who tears down players or this team. And, I think the fan base, I've saw some negative comments, but I think they still realize that this team has a chance to do something really special. All the Kentucky basketball is back energy, from me at least, is kind of tapered off now. Just because, a top 10 team comes into Rupp, you run them off the floor, and you think, man, this team's unstoppable. And that's, honestly, that was my opinion. If you listened last week, I was giddy. Like, I was so excited for what this team can be. And I hate that one loss kind of takes that away, but that's just where I am right now. I'm sure I'll be right back in that if we go out and have a good performance Saturday. I know this team can do it. I'm very confident. I still think, and you can call me crazy if you want, I still think we go into non-conference with only 2 losses. I think Saturday will be a close game. I think Penn will play us close, but I think we end up pulling it out. And I think we beat Carolina. I think we beat Louisville. And I think we beat Illinois State. And, I think we go into SEC play with only 2 losses. And, we'll see. We will see. Another cold take from me last week was I said I didn't think inferior teams could beat us. The one I was most worried about was Penn. Well, as all of my predictions last week were terrible, that was another one. So, Penn comes into Saturday. They're only 5-4, but they beat Villanova. They played close with St. Joe's just like we did. St. Joe's beat them by 8. They've had some weird losses. Lost to Belmont, lost to Maryland Eastern Shore. lost to LaSalle by 1 in overtime. That's a Philly game. That was for, that's what they call the Big Five Classic. Looks like they play a D2 school tonight, so more than likely we'll come into the game 6-4 against us, and we sit at 6-2, ranked 16 in the country. And before I get into this quick little Penn preview, I get that we lost against UNC Wilmington, but you watch that Miami game on Tuesday night, and you tell me how the Hurricanes are ranked one spot ahead of us in the next AP poll. The AP poll continues to be a joke to me, just because, I don't know if the voters don't watch the games or what. And I know you can't just dismiss us losing at home to Wilmington, but put us at 15 and Miami at 16. I mean, we completely destroyed them. We ran them off the floor. And to put us behind them in the rankings really just rubbed me the wrong way. So that kind of ticked me off a little bit. As you can tell, I got it worked up there. But just completely ridiculous on the AP voters' part, in my opinion. Cats are back at 16 where we started the year, had worked our way up to 12. If we beat Wilmington at home, potentially top 7, top 8 ranking would have been there. Maybe even top 5. A lot of the top 10 lost last week. So, but we'll try to get there now. We'll try to go on a little winning streak of our own now, and it starts Saturday against Penn. I think that, like I said, I think the Cats win, but I do think it'll be close. Penn has some shooters. They have some size also. They are led in scoring by one of their guards, Clark Slaughert. I do not know if that's how you pronounce his name, but he's a 6'1" senior from LA, averaging almost 20 a game. Shoots the ball 33% from 3. That's a guy we're going to have to focus on. Every game I like to mention a couple players from the other team, even if you all don't know who they are. Tyler Perkins, a freshman guard, averaging 17 a game. So they're led by their guards, and that's one thing that I'm excited about for this Kentucky team against them is, I think we definitely have better guards. So I think that we should win. If the Cats aren't woken up by that loss against UNC Wilmington, I'll be very concerned. Before that loss, I had this as about an 8-point victory. But now I think the Cats come in looking to prove a point. And I think they run and gun like they're supposed to. Hopefully, if this is all assuming DJ Wagner plays. If DJ Wagner plays, I like the Cats by a score of 96-82. I'll take the Cats by 14. And I think, we get back to what this team was before that Wilmington loss. I think we're up and down the floor. I think we're shooting a lot of threes. And I will be glad to have DJ back if that is the case. So, I think I want to take a minute. I think Reed did a fine job running things. We just really needed DJ on defense. And if you watched that game, you could tell that coming down the stretch there, they attacked Reed, and we really couldn't do much about it. I want to shout out the crowd that was there Saturday. Bringing in an inferior opponent, the crowd brought it. It seemed like it was a very good crowd. I think the fan base was ready to explode after that Miami win. I think, we were all kind of buying in like, oh my, the Cats are back. We're rolling. I hope one loss doesn't change that. Like I said, you get Penn this Saturday, and if you take care of business there, you're 7-2 going into a matchup against North Carolina. And then that's when if we can win that game, the fan base jumps back on board and we're cooking with grease. So, I think, that I'll have a nice little preview next week of that Carolina game. But then it's SEC play after Louisville and Illinois State, and we'll see what this team can do. The conference seems to be somewhat down compared to what everybody thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. You have some teams taking some really bad losses. Mississippi State has lost 2 straight, and one including a game to Southern at home. Just a rough for the SEC. So we'll see how it goes. I think this team still. I saw Joe Lenardi's bracketology. The last thing I'll touch on dropped us from. I saw an article that said world beaters to a 6 seed. You know, Joe Lenardi always seems to have us lower than what we should be, but you know, I think that loss will knock us down a seed line come Selection Sunday. You can't overlook that loss, but so cheer on UNC Wilmington as the year goes on. So it's not terrible. So, like I said, they can win their conference, but you still don't lose to them at home, and we did. It's frustrating, but we'll move on. I'm already looking forward to Saturday. I'm looking forward to these Cats coming back out and delivering a good performance, and I think they will do just that. MVP for Saturday, you know, does Aaron Bradshaw play enough in his homecoming to be MVP? I don't know. I don't see why not. They held him to 15 minutes in that game against Wilmington. But a guy, my personal favorite player on the team that I think is going to have a great game after not a very good game against Wilmington, I'm taking MVP Rob Dillingham. I think he will get going from deep and get back to dishing the ball to his teammates. And I look forward to this game Saturday. I hope you all watch. It is at noon on ESPN2 on Saturday. So, as always, it's Go Cats. And thank you all for listening to another episode of JD's Wildcat World. Let me know if you all have any questions. You know, I've loved interacting with you all during games. I've never thought I would interact with this many people during games, but it's awesome to do. And I love hearing your all's opinions. If you all got any questions about anything I've said or want to critique my opinions or give me your all's, do that as well. And thank you all for listening. As always, I truly appreciate it. We're still available on Apple and Spotify, both. So if you're listening on one platform, you can listen on the other as well, and it would help me out. If you haven't rated and reviewed on either platform, please do that for me. Leave me a 5-star review. And thank you guys. I'm ready to put this sports weekend behind me as the Cats suffered a bad loss, and then the Jags. My Jaguars lose on Monday Night Football to the Bengals and potentially lose Trevor Lawrence for a couple weeks. So I'm ready to put this bad sports weekend behind me and regroup next week as the Cats hopefully will get a win against Penn. So thank you all. And as always, go Cats.